Bonjour tout le monde. Today we're going to talk about les verbes en ER, or regular ER verbs. Now, there's a little bit of vocabulary that we need in order to start working with conjugating our ER verbs. The first vocabulary that you need is the infinitive. The infinitive is the non-conjugated form of a verb. Now, conjugation means changing the verb to fit with the subject, so whoever is doing the verb. For example, if we have the verb to eat, and I say I eat, I conjugated the verb to eat by saying I eat. If I'm talking about we eat, I'm saying we eat, that's conjugating the verb to the we subject. What about he eats? If you see he eats, I changed eat to fit with he being my subject. In French, we have three different infinitives. We have our ER, our IR, and our RE. Today we are talking about ER verbs. Now, to conjugate a verb, there are just two steps. The first is that you're going to drop your infinitive ending. So that will either be your ER, your IR, or your RE, just like I mentioned before. The second step is that you are going to add your present tense ending according to your subject. And the present tense endings depend on which type of verb you have, whether it's an ER, an IR, or an RE verb. Each one has a different set of endings. So we're going to start with our verb arriver. Arriver is a cognate, un vrai ami, and it means to arrive. Now, if we're going to conjugate arriver, I need to drop my infinitive ending, which is ER, and that gets me my radical, or my stem, which is arrive. Now, in order to conjugate arriver, depending on my subject, I'm going to add the appropriate ending to my stem. So if my subject is je, I add an e. If it's tu, es. Il, elle, on, e. Nu, ons. Vu, ez. Il, elle, pluriel, ent. So now if I have the sujet je, I will add e for j'arrive. Make sure you note that with our subject je, your je will turn into J apostrophe if our verb starts with a vowel. So j'arrive. If my subject is tu, I will add an es. Tu arrives, you arrive. If my subject is il, I will add an I, il arrive. If my subject is elle, I will add an I for elle arrive. If my subject is on, I will add again an I for on arrive. Remember, on is an unidentified person, one arrives. If my subject is nous, I will add ons, nous arrivons. If my subject is vous, I will add an easy, vous arrivez. If my subject is il pluriel, I will add an ent, ils arrivent. And then if my subject is elle pluriel, I will add an ent as well, elles arrivent. Now, there are some verbs that are still regular verbs, meaning they follow all of those rules, except they have one special rule, which is a stem change in the new form. If your verb ends in GER or CER, in the new form, you have to do something special called a stem change. You'll see that right here. So we have our verb manger. In order to conjugate, we drop our ER and add the appropriate ending according to my subject. But because manger is a GER verb, we're actually going to do a special stem change where we add an extra E before the ONS. So it becomes mangeons. Nous mangeons, we eat. Now, this is only for pronunciation purposes. It doesn't do anything else. So just remember that for the new form of a GER verb, your ending is actually going to be EONS, that special stem change. Something similar will happen with commencer. You see, commencer is an ER verb, a CER verb, because that's its ending. I conjugate it regularly. Je commence with an E. Tu commences, ES. Il, elle, on commence with an E. But in the new form, I actually am going to add an accent cédille to that C right there. Okay, that is only for pronunciation purposes. As you remember, our accent cédille will just make the C sound like a S sound. So it would be commençons. Without the cédille, it would be commençons, which is a nasty sound, so we don't do that. So we would say nous commençons, you add that cédille. The same thing will happen for any other verb ending in CER for those regular verbs. This is our special stem change only in the new form. Then we have vous commencez, il, elle commence. And that's all. That's how you conjugate regular ER verbs. Make sure you copy down these charts into your notes and that you are prepared to conjugate some verbs tomorrow. À bientôt!